Hello everyone, I hope you've been enjoying Sumeru as much as I have. There's a bunch to talk about, but I'll start off with something that is sort of linked with my last video on Diluc. That is, we may have been given a backstory on Dottore. While investigating the ruins of Dahri and their connection to the Knights of the Swan, I noticed someone else had done the same thing that I was doing. That person was named Zandik, a trainee Daster of Sumeru Academia some time in the past. The name Zandik is a Zoroastrian term that can be interpreted to mean heretic, which fits Dottore quite nicely, but there's a lot more to go over that I think makes the connection pretty convincing. Let me know if you still don't believe it by the end of the video in the comments though. Zandik was investigating the machines left behind by Khaenri'ah, so this would have been sometime within the past 500 years and would likely make him part of the Sharawa Darshan as they study technology. In his notes he talks about his group's discovery of the ruin golem at the ruins of Gurabad in the desert. After discovering the ruin golem in the rainforest, he finds the key parts that were missing from the one in the desert and speculates that it may be possible to repair the machinery's automatic system, something we might have to deal with when we arrive in the desert. While investigating the ruin golem of Devantaka Mountain, he mentions this: found an organization called Schwanenritter, and its existence may be confirmed by the legend of the ruins of Dahri. Schwanenritter means Knight of the Swan in German, and Dahri is a Persian theological term meaning atheist, which lines up pretty well with Khaenri'ah and their philosophy of worshipping no gods. In his notes he becomes secretive of his discoveries, marveling at how the mechanical parts have been created and thinking that such things could not be created under the rule of the Archons. A member of his group, Sorey, comments that though he is young and handsome, he is also too rigid, and his darshan doesn't have much in common with her darshan of Amurta, also known as biology. They have an interesting discussion on the evolution of the local plants and animals though, and decide to go on a picnic together that night. This doesn't go well for Sorey, as due to Zandik acting without authorization for a third time, Sorey is critically injured under the attack of Rishbalan tigers. With things going from bad to worse, the group was attacked by a killing machine, which Zandik manages to subdue and wants to bring back to the Academia to study and reverse engineer. This was rejected by Sage Shahnameh, who even removed Zandik's name from the author list of his group's work. During this time, Sorey dies and the field investigation is ended. An autopsy on her body shows that the fatal injury was a wound on her throat, and suggests that she may have been strangled by someone rather than dying due to her wounds from the tigers. This may have been Dottore's first murder, though I have a feeling it probably wasn't. The next record shows Zandik experimenting on people who were affected by the withering near Abham Woods. He takes men, women, and children, but after the Aranara rescue the children, he takes an interest in them. Wanting to obtain a living sample to experiment on, he says this: if we put them to good use, cognition, complex memories, and irrational fantasies shall become controllable variables with which we can alter human individuals. As for the controllable dream, it has huge potential for both civil and military implications, and might even elevate human intelligence to a whole new level. If the plan goes well, mankind will obtain the power to conquer both reality and dream, and truly transcend the earthly boundaries we are born with. Which makes me think Dottore is behind what we went through at the Sabzeruz festival, and is working together with the corrupt sages of the Academia. His next notes are about how his subjects died in pretty gory descriptions I won't go into, except to say that his conclusion was that the withering caused unpredictable or pathological skin mutations, In the Deepwood Memories timepiece, it seems we get some more from Dottore. It talks about the cycle of life and death, with it saying, "Those souls who have been destroyed by death, memories that are eternally lost, is there a place for them in the cycle of life and death? The soul is a void concept, and memories must one day return to the land. What is there to worry about if something that was always void were to fade away? Rather, remind and support one another, such that everyone's image will be remembered forever. Thus shall we defeat the natural cycle of life and death, and preserve memory forever." Rejecting the natural cycle is in line with Dottore joining the Harbingers, as they reject Celestia's rule and their heavenly principles. He seems to either want to resurrect or restore the memories of someone too, with the lines, "Much later, the friends who had agreed to remind one another would be infected by the wicked disease of forgetfulness. According to the image of the three people and the three spirits that had not been wholly forgotten, and the records and conjectures left behind by the mad scientist who was expelled from the academia, the dream had to be captured, along with the inhabitants of the forest who could control dreams, to remind that friend once again of one's own form and the memories that were shared." This could be viewed as Dottore wanting to revive or see Sorei again in the dream. I don't see Dottore as the sentimental type though, and this is more likely him convincing the sages to use his methods in order to revive Rukkhadevata. This would mean that our experiences at the end of the 3.0 Archon quests were the result of Dottore and the sages working together, and also means they've probably captured and experimented on some of the Aranara. What this has to do with Scaramouche I'm not sure, but if Dottore has control of the Dendronosis via the Academia, then it would probably make it easier to yoink the Electronosis from Scaramouche and stroll back into Snezhnaya with both Gnosis, after conducting his experiments. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider leaving me a like to let me know, and subscribe if you want to know when my next video will be up. Good luck on your wishes, and I hope you have a great day.